Have you had a health scare, terrified that you'll lose your independence? In this video, you'll discover what you can do when your body tells you that you're getting old, so that you can be capable, sharp, and vital when fitness alone isn't enough. So hello to you, my name is Penelope, and I used to hate being old. There was a memorable moment when I first heard myself say the words, I hate being old. So maybe you've said them too, maybe you've thought them when looking in the mirror, or whispered them after a doctor's appointment that changed everything for you. So that moment came when I woke up one morning unable to walk. I was in excruciating pain in my lower back, and seeing the CAT scans, the CT scans, confronting the reality of chronic degeneration in my spine, it was my own profound wake-up call. So a year on, while I still know the fear of will it happen again, because it can, I've recovered and I've healed, and the experience became the catalyst for building the healthiest habits that I've ever had in my life. So my wake-up call revealed what I kind of feel was really truly missing in my approach to aging, and it required everything that I'd learned over the 35 plus years as a clinical psychologist, a mindfulness expert, a brain health trainer and a fitness trainer to really understand the process of it. So what I'm now calling, or what I now call, whole strength, WHOLE. So maybe you've had your own particular wake-up call, or that you're dreading the one that's coming. A worrying scan, a chronic health diagnosis, a cancer diagnosis, a test result that makes aging an undeniable reality. Because let's face it, when we get to our age, unexpected health challenges, losing loved ones, or that moment when we realise that we're old, they aren't a matter of if, but when. And it's really, really scary. It leaves us floundering in future what ifs and oh no's. So my wake-up call was happened on a normal Monday morning. I was excited about my gym workout, and then later on teaching my beloved group fitness classes, which I do most days. And as soon as I stepped out of bed, I experienced really, really, really awful tremors of excruciating pain right down my lower back into my left leg. And for 3 weeks, basically, I was lying flat on my back, getting up only for doctor's appointments and physio appointments and going to the loo, of course. And the thoughts that consumed me were really brutal. Things like, I'm a fitness trainer. Why is this happening to me? I'll be a cripple. I'll be a burden to my kids, and I hate being old. Now, you might recognise these thoughts, maybe not the exact words, obviously, but the feeling, I guess, behind them, that terror of becoming a burden, the frustration and maybe the shame of your body letting you down. I tried during those 3 weeks everything to escape the pain, because it was awful. It hurt. I tried different medications, distraction, of course, denial, this isn't happening to me. But fighting the experience really at the end of the day only made it worse. It really added layers of emotional stuff, struggle and suffering on top of the actual physical pain that I was experiencing. Then came the scan results, and they showed this, this chronic degeneration in my lower spine, years of osteoporosis and osteoarthritis, and it created these spontaneous bulges in 2 areas in my lower back. So there it was in stark black and white, undeniable proof that my body was aging, it was breaking down, that it was in decline. But over the time, I discovered the real problem, the hidden root cause that made this experience so much more torturous than it actually needed to be. It wasn't just the physical degeneration, it was the decades of, eating disorders that had damaged my bone health, the years and years of sitting hours and hours after hours endlessly, working on my computer, just watching TV. They'd really taken their toll, big time it turned out. But the real devastation came from my mental and emotional approach to getting older, the relationship that I had with getting older. I'd lost sight of something fundamental, that I'm a whole being, body, mind, heart and soul, not just a physical machine to be maintained. And here's what I've learned from talking to hundreds of women, that I'm not the only one. So for many of us, we've neglected our whole selves. For over a decade, I'd abandoned my long-term practices of mindfulness, self-compassion, and the kind of deeper spiritual inquiry, focusing only on exercise and nutrition, feeling that I was, doing the best things for my body. I stopped my morning mindfulness practice. I quit the brain training exercises that I knew kept, me switched on up here. I'd abandoned the self-compassion habits that had helped me to kind of just stay kind to myself through the hard times that life offers us. I was completely resisting the realities of aging, how my body was changing, my memory was fading, how much more anxious that I felt every day. I was spending enormous energy fighting what was actually happening, creating what we Buddhists call the second arrow, the suffering that we add to the pain through our experience or our resistance to it. So not allowing ourselves to acknowledge what's actually happening. There's a saying that kind of sums this up. What we resist persists and grows stronger. So the 2 arrows. So the first arrow was the disc bulges, the pain, unavoidable in my case, part of my aging body. So your first arrow might be different. It might be arthritis, hearing loss, a cancer diagnosis, losing your partner or another beloved family member. But we all face the first arrows. It's the kind of the reality of living as a human being. And that's, and also in the process of aging. Now, the second arrow was my war against the reality of what was happening, with the first arrow. This shouldn't be happening to me. I hate being old. This means I'm broken, I'm useless, I'm becoming a burden. So what second arrows are you shooting at yourself right now? That's what nearly broke me, the second arrow. Not the aging itself, but I guess my relationship with it. So I was exercising my body while completely neglecting my mind, my heart, and my soul, it turns out. That's what made the wake-up call so brutal. I had all these tools, I had all these practices and, past experience. I just wasn't using them. And the breakthrough came when I realised I had a choice. And, when you're going through something like, disc bulges or any kind of first arrow experiences, you have lots of time to think and reflect. And my realization was that I could continue this exhausting battle against what was actually happening, or I could try something different and work towards rebuilding the healthy habits that I knew worked. I experienced them working in the past. Now, here's what's weird. Accepting what's happening actually creates space. It creates an opening to respond in healthy ways, and to make a choice about how we respond. So when I stopped fighting, I could finally ask, okay, this is true. This is what's happening. I'm experiencing this. Now, what can I actually do about it? That's the question that I'm inviting you to ask yourself too. Not why is this happening to me, or it's not fair that this is happening to me, but this is happening. Whatever your particular wake-up call is, this is happening. Now what? That question for me changed everything. I realised that I'm not just a body that's breaking down, I'm a whole being. Body, mind, heart and soul. And that's just wonderful. Capable of transformation even in, the midst of the physical challenges that I was experiencing. I wanted to bring all this back into my life to feel whole again, because I knew what that felt like from the past. So I could heal and grow and flourish, physically, mentally, emotionally, and also spiritually. Because that's who I am, that's who you are, and that's who we all are. We're all those things together. Body, mind, heart and soul combined into one amazing whole human being. We're a miracle of moving, integrated parts that require a holistic approach if we are to experience health and well-being, especially as we age. Now, this wasn't about positive thinking or denying reality. This was about embracing the wholeness that I knew was true and was real. We've made it to this age despite everything that life has thrown at us, and that took enormous strength and courage. But now it's different. The old ways of coping, pushing through, problem solving, sweeping things under the carpet, trying harder, they're not enough anymore. And they don't even work anyway, do they really? We need something new, not because we're failing, but because we're aging. It asks something different from us, and that's okay. So the specific healthy habits that I rebuilt, these included habit number 1 was daily mindfulness. So I returned to the practice of being present with what is, without judging myself when I was distracted. Habit number 2 was self-compassion, speaking to myself in a kind way, the way I'd speak to a dear friend. Habit number 3, safe movement. So exercise designed for my aging body, not against it. Now, habit number 4, brain training, keeping my mind and my brain sharp and adaptable, so resilient. And habit number 5 was going back or rediscovering, I guess, my spiritual practice, reconnecting with the meaning and the calm and the purpose beyond the physical. So what's interesting about these 5 habits is that I've created a way of, bringing them all together, integrating them into my daily routine without actually spending hours on each particular one. And I call this approach whole strength. And I'll be sharing more about this whole strength approach in coming videos. But for now, as I was rebuilding these 5 habits, I've noticed that I'm embracing a curious kind of paradox that seems impossible, but it is indeed true and workable. So that is, I can hate being old and I can love who I'm becoming, or I can love growing older at the same time. I hate the limitations, the pain and the decline. seen my grandmother's hands in the mirror, and I love the deepening wisdom, the freedom from caring what others think, and the spiritual growth that comes through the lived experience that I've had. So holding both of these truths at once, the decline and also the growth. The grief and the gratitude, the loss and the growth, as I said. I'm wondering if this resonates with you. I hope so. This isn't about becoming positive about aging or wallowing in self-pity. It's about really acknowledging where you're at with your own aging journey, warts and all, and then building habits, healthy habits that make aging doable, that make aging workable. We can project fear into the future, or we can ask, how do I want to use each day for what actually matters? So the question, or this question, leads to peace. Not the peace of everything's fine, the peace of knowing what matters and living accordingly. Healthy habits after 60 aren't about looking younger or pretending that aging is wonderful. They're about using the aging process itself really as a teacher. Every limitation becomes an invitation to adjust. Every loss becomes an opportunity to discover what's truly essential. My back injury, which I thought would end everything, well, instead it ended my old habits, and it forced me to reacquaint myself with better ones. These new habits, they've really given me better fitness and more authentic joy and peace than I had in my 40s and 50s. What if your wake-up call could do the same? So, whatever your wake-up call was or will be, it's not evidence that you're broken. If you're scared about what aging means, I want you to know something. I want you to know something profound. This can be the beginning of building the life that you want, not despite aging, but because of it. You don't have to love everything about aging. You don't have to pretend that it's all wonderful. You don't have to, kid yourself that it's, great and everything's fine. But you can absolutely build daily habits that help age with strength, with clarity, and with purpose. Anais Nin, a wonderful author, she wrote, "And the day came when the risk it took to remain tight in the bud was more painful than the risk it took to blossom." So maybe this is your day. The scan results that terrified me really became the doorway to the healthiest habits that I've ever practiced. Your wake-up call can be the same kind of beginning. So let's try this now. So let me invite you to think about one healthy habit that you've used in the past, or maybe a new one that you've heard someone talk about, but that you've let slip. Maybe it's walking daily, meditating, or calling friends regularly. Notice how you feel when you think about it. So being aware of any judgment that comes in, because you've not been doing the habit, just be aware of that. So just notice what made the habit work for you before, or what if it's a new habit, what would you like, or how would you like that habit to work for you? And please pause the video if you need time to reflect. So this is how transformation begins, one habit at a time. Now, you don't have to do anything about that right now. It's just an invitation really to reflect on a healthy habit that you used to have or one that you would like to have, and maybe even reflecting on the first small step that you could take on your journey to bring that habit into your life. This channel, this YouTube channel, is actually all about building healthy habits that transform your relationship with aging through whole strength practices, amongst other exciting things as well. So there's going to be plenty of opportunities in future videos to explore making the changes that you want to make in your life. So if this resonates with you, please give this video a thumbs up and share it with someone that you feel would like to or needs to hear this message. And subscribe so that you can be notified of more videos that I'll be sharing in the future around building healthy habits that can transform your relationship with aging through whole strength practices. And please leave a comment. I'd love to hear your thoughts and reflections, maybe the healthy habit that you're going to introduce over time, and I'll respond when I can. And remember that you're not just aging, you're building a life that's worth living, you're evolving and you're deepening and expanding in wisdom and fulfillment, purpose, courage and joy. Thank you.